Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this prestigious event. It's the big one you've all been waiting for, the Motorsport South Africa Cup 2025. I'm your main host, Flawed Gaming, and I'll be taking you through the next 10 weeks through the thrills and the spills of this exciting championship. 60 drivers are signed, sealed, and delivered, separated into 4 tiers, decided from their qualifying outings over the last couple of weeks. But in this broadcast, we'll be covering the top tier with some of the finest South African drivers ever to grace GT7 and sim racing in general. And throughout this championship, I'll be introducing to you a whole array of great commentators and guest stars to join me as the season unfolds. And today is no different. Now, today we were supposed to have 2 commentators with us, but due to unforeseen circumstances, our guest star and MSA chairman, Stephen Kernick, has come down with a flu virus and wasn't able to make today. So we do wish him a speedy recovery, and hopefully we can get him back in the booth sometime later on during this championship. But we do apologise for the inconvenience caused. Nevertheless, I do have someone that you'll be all too familiar with, particularly if you were there for season 1 of the SMA Championship. He is also the podcaster responsible for interviewing the stars of the SMA. Is that a big enough clue? Well, I'm delighted to reintroduce our legendary Scottish extraordinaire with a kilt, Hugh Hattrick. Good evening, good to have you back, and how have you been?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you, Sean. It's fantastic to be back. I'm very well, thanks. I'm fired up, firing on all 12 cylinders, ready to start commentating on this great championship of the MSA series. Yes, looking forward to it massively. It's been a fantastic few weeks. Nice to have a bit of time off, but we're back in the hot seat again to describe what all these great drivers are going to do for us tonight. I'm sure they're going to put on a great show, but fully fired up and ready to go.
It's great to have you back, Hugh, that is for sure. Before we get into all the details that you need to know, we do have to shout out our sponsors for the MSA Cup 2025. So firstly, big shout out to Simulator Cave, South Africa's haven for all your sim racing equipment, selling only the highest recommended products from the likes of Fanatec and Moser, as well as racing cockpits for that perfect driving experience. Contact JP for all his helpful and friendly advice, and if you're still not convinced, book yourself a tour of the shop and test drive many of the sim rigs available so you get the full try before you buy experience, leaving behind any doubts. Link is in the description below. And also sponsored by TGSC Cape Town Golf Academy, the hotbed of nurturing young potential to golfing greatness. An academy with a breadth of history of producing talent on the world stage. If you feel you have what it takes to become South Africa's next Ernie Els, TGSC is the place to be. Thank you so much to these 2 sponsors, our official sponsors for the 2025 season of the MSA Cup. We are also in association of the world governing body, the FIA, and South Africa's governing body of all motorsport, Motorsport South Africa, the only place for official GT7 leagues on behalf of South Africa, and Sim Motorsport Association, growing the sport together. Please contact Robin Williams, our MSA GT7 promoter, for further details. Email links will be in the description below and on our YouTube homepage. So I guess it's time to have a look at the race lineup we have in store for you in the MSA Cup 2025. So as you can see with the calendar, we have got the calendar from the gods as we kick off proceedings in our brand new season with a trip to the countryside for the first round of the Cup. We are in central France for the village of ALSACE for the first of our 2 races in the Porsche Cayman Group 4 car. This is followed by a trip to neighbouring country Switzerland for the visit of Deep Forest Raceway in the second of the races using the Porsche Cayman on June the 16th. And on week 3 sees us fly across the pond to the first of 3 American races to southeastern America for the world famous circuit of Road Atlanta. This will be at the end of June. And also in a new car, the Peugeot RCZ Group 3 car. There's a trip up on the east shoreline of America in New York for the equally famous Watkins Glen for the first Monday of July. And this is followed by the 3rd and final leg of the America Tour as we fly to the west coast for our special event at Laguna Seca. The car is to be announced, but that will be on the 7th of July. Round 6 sees us back in Europe for the beautiful but equally terrifying race at Dragon Trail Seaside in Croatia using a new car, the Nissan GTR 2018 car, Group 3 that is, for the 14th of July. And then the following week on the 21st sees us take a long trip to Asia in Japan for the Super GT Haven, that is Autopolis, which will also be in the Nissan GTR Group 3 car. Then it's back to Europe for the final time. We have the Red Bull Ring in Austria using a new car, the Mercedes AMG 2020 Group 3 car. And closing off July on the 28th, and that is closing off on July the 28th, and on the first week of August we are off to the Cathedral of Speed. That is right, we are at Monza, Italy, to finish off the AMG mini series, and then the grand finale on August the 11th for our special event at Le Mans, with the car also to be announced, where we could find out who is crowned champion for the GT7 Motorsport South Africa Cup for 2025. So, what a fantastic lineup of races we have in store for you this season. But what have we got for tonight's race? Hugh, can you fill us in with all the details, please?
Certainly. Well, we are in ALSACE tonight, and ALSACE is a fictional circuit that first appears in Gran Turismo Sport. As the name suggests, it is a 5-kilometre circuit set within the French village in Alsace, which is a French region. The circuit is set along French roads that undulate and turn quite spectacularly. It's the wide variation of corner types from high-speed sweepers to low-speed hairpins. There are also moments where the player may have to brake whilst or shortly after turning their vehicle. Because of this, it gives the circuit a tarmac rally impression as opposed to conventional race tracks. And I have to say, if it's driving on French roads, you've got to drive like the French, which means you've got to go for every corner, every move. I think we're going to see some fantastic overtakes here. There's plenty of opportunities, and there's quite a lot of grip from the tarmac here. It's quite a grippy kind of track. So let's move forward to the qualifying and the details here for what we have. The tyre wear is on 1. Fuel consumption is ×3, refueling speed is 7, and the race is 25 laps. And soon we'll be starting with a 10-minute qualifying session, and the grid is with a false start check. Now the tyres are all racing tyres, and the softs and mediums are what are required. So I don't think anyone will be using the hards, but the softs and mediums are definitely required. So we will see pit stops. And certainly when I was looking at the racing softs yesterday, they were lasting fairly well, and there's a number of strategies that can be used. They can go longer on the mediums, perhaps maybe 16 or 17 laps, and then go on the softs. And they may even need to do an extra stop depending on how they go through their tyres. But it's going to be very exciting, very close, because all the cars are the same. And I can't wait, Sean. It's looking good. Now we've got, of course, the Porsche. The Porsche Cayman GT4. It's designed for racing on the track, and in terms of power, it's no different from the base model. However, the change to the shape, underbody and power train means it's much more competition focused. And it also, instead of having a 6-speed manual gearbox, it now has a 2-pedal DCT transmission. And That helps to maximise the performance when you've got flappy paddles. This always adds to the excitement. So it's going to be fantastic, and I'll hand it back to you, Sean, to do the driver lineup.
Thank you, Hugh. So yes, what a fantastic lineup of drivers we have amongst us, I have to say. This is actually in seeding order from about a week ago, and I have to tell you, we have some new faces in this lineup, and it was actually 14-year-old South African sensation Puma Nutcap who managed to get the fastest seeding time, leaving every driver in his dust. Can he replicate that form during this MSA Cup? Only time will tell, as there's a multitude of talent on display here, one of which second place driver in the seeding was SMA's Season 1 champion TNR Levitius, who I'm sure will have his say on things and will be hot on his heels for sure. Then we have TNR teammates Papaya Racer, who is no slouch by any stretch of the imagination, and TNR Latari that showed a fantastic form too. Then we had VSR teammates of Richard, who came second runner-up or third in the SMA Championship, and VSR Fish, who is more than capable on his day. Then we welcome in the first of the two new faces for this championship. We have KLM Pace, who I know can give anyone a good battle, and we'll be looking forward to seeing how he measures up with the OGs of SMA. Then in comes the VSR drivers of Wolfie and JDJ, the supremely confident duo that can always mix it up with the very best. And then the second of the two new faces, Jensen, looking to show off his skills to the nation. Could well be the dark horse here, but we'll have to wait and see. With MGR Rusty, first time in Tier 1, was ever present in Tier 2, I do believe, in SMA, where he could cause a few upsets. And the ever-present trio of Puma Nil, VSR Giller and MGR Kennels rounding off a formidable lineup of drivers for our first round in the MSA Cup. And onto the format going into this season. So those of you that were there for last season in the SMA GT500 series, from the first race today till the fifth race, we have a promotion and relegation system in each of the 4 tiers. Top 3 drivers from each race in tiers 2 to 4 will be promoted to the above tier for the next race. Bottom 3, 12th, 13th and 14th will be demoted to the tier below. After race 5, the final determined tier position will be based on your total logged points, with the dropped round included, meaning the worst round will be deducted from your final logged points. This will then determine which tier you will race in for the rest of the season. Best of luck to all the drivers that are competing today and the whole of the MSA Cup 2025. Now, it does look like the drivers are just running their final checks ahead of a 10-minute qualifier to kick things off for this season. We will join them on track in a few moments' time. Okay, so it looks like they're still in practice. It looks like qualifying will get underway in the next couple of minutes here. But Hugh, how are the drivers looking out there in their final preparations right now?
Well, it's looking very close indeed and very competitive. We've got Chaz CA currently with the fastest time, although Vars Vartavis earlier set a 201.125. And Levitius, in fact, VSR JDJ is in second, just 0.062 behind. Then we've got Levitius in third. So it's very, very close, and looking forward to seeing what the actual qualifying will deliver. But there doesn't seem to be that much in it as we go through the field. In fact, really just fractions in it, covering the first 5, which is very good indeed. And as they're coming around, we're seeing the liveries of the cars, we're seeing the drivers get used to their right lines. They've done lots of practice. I was in a lobby yesterday yesterday, and we could see how well the drivers were doing. And if they're getting, look there goes Levidius with a 2 minutes 0.7, but I'm quite sure the others will catch up there as they get ready to start their qualifying session. But yes, it's looking very close, and I'm sure no one can say who is going to get pole position as of yet, but we can't wait to get going with the session.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this guy gets on. This is Nutcat, for those that don't know, and she runs a little bit wide there. Maybe that's a commentator's curse there, but he is just 14 years old. So he has already shown during seeding that he is a young man capable of great things, I feel. And I think for the future generation as well, high hopes will be put on his shoulders, particularly going into this Motorsport South Africa Cup, where, you know, it's a very prestigious cup, of course, you know, a lot of pride going into this competition, getting recognised as a South African driver for their achievements. Yeah, I mean, look, what can I say? I mean, I wish I was out there, Hugh, but, you know, they are probably a little bit more talented than me, so we'll have to watch these 14 drivers for now. Maybe I will need a South African passport as well, which probably would help you.
And well, if they're a little bit better than you, Flawed, they're going to be an awful lot better than me, that's for sure. But these wonderful cars, I mean, I love this combination of Group 4 and ALSACE, especially in the Porsche, because as they race around these corners, you can see them just, the car grips so well, and on those racing soft tyres, it's going to give them the maximum feel, the real joy of racing, because the part of that, isn't it, it's the freedom of just getting around those corners, accelerating out, braking hard, and having lots of fun trying to overtake. So yes, I think we're going to see so many battles. It's a privilege to be part of this championship, and I'm sure really we're going to be enthralled by the races to come tonight and throughout the series. And of course, we've got bright blue skies as well. I don't think there's any chance of rain tonight, so they can enjoy being on those slick tyres and making the most of them. Back over to you, Sean.
Thank you, Hugh. Thank you. And I just need to welcome in everyone that's joined us today. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't already done so, please do hit that like button to really help the YouTube algorithm and spread this content across the world. And if you are new to the channel as well, please do hit that subscribe button as well. It would be much, much appreciated. But let's look through the chat and see all the names that we have in here right now. So we've got Abdul in here, we've got Alanator in here, Kennels, of course, who will be competing very, very shortly, actually P4 in practice as well. So Kennels looking like a man on form right now, but of course Levitius as well, current or reigning champion of SMA. We've got Parquet in here, we've got Mammy in here, Ghost Rider, Sir Mags, of course, who keeps trying to persuade me to join Team TNR. But a little bit of a controversy even surrounding that, because yeah, maybe not the best of looks, but I do appreciate it all the same. We got TNR Whipperman as well, I think has competed tonight, I do believe. And then we got Rob G. Barker as well. Rob G. Barker, good to see you as always, as well as Lauren and Ghost Rider as well, of course, also I do believe competing in the MSA Cup this season. So for those that did compete earlier on from tiers 2 to 4, let us know how you got on. It'll be interesting to see whether or not maybe we might see you in the coming weeks of this championship, because of course, as we know, there is a promotion and relegation system up until race 5. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see all the new names coming into tier 1 and seeing if they can mix it up with the very best. So Max instantly says TNR Flawed. I mean, don't get me wrong, it has a good ring to it, but I'm sure the bosses of SMA will have a thing or two to say about that. But Rob is saying that he is backing Levi this evening. Now, Levi, of course, we know is a ridiculously fast driver. And I did actually see a message from, I think it was Kennels, who said that Jensen's... in fact, let me change things over. And yeah, the drivers are just coming out on their out lap for this 10-minute qualifying ahead of this 25-lap race here at ALSACE for the first round of the MSA Cup 2025. So this is certainly going to be the business end now. We're going to see the true pace and skill of the drivers here. And of course, it's really good to see, Hugh. They're in the Group 4 Porsche Cayman cars, which really does emphasize the closest of racing. It almost like reminds me of the touring cars in the UK, where it really introduces wheel-to-wheel racing, and it's just truly a spectacle for your viewing eyes. So I do wonder whether or not it's going to be as close as what we normally see in the UK. This is definitely a very technical circuit, and certainly a circuit that probably doesn't favour my driving. But what are your thoughts, Hugh?
Yeah, I wonder how the slipstream might affect it. With the dirty air, I wonder how that will affect the race tonight, because there's a lot of long corners, and as you say, it will be close. The cars are going to be right next to each other on many occasions, so they'll have to watch maybe as they brake and steer, because that could affect them a bit. But no, these cars are great. In fact, it reminded me, just as we saw those cars coming out of the pit lane and then going up the hill, it's like when you're at a real racetrack and the cars start coming out and you hear the engines and the excitement builds up, because all of a sudden you're seeing the drivers and you're seeing the cars go out, all those famous liveries that you've seen on TV. Well, we've seen some of these liveries. All these liveries are brand new, but it's all the drivers we love and respect, and we've seen them before, and with new faces as well. So now it's beginning, the excitement is building up, the adrenaline is pumping, and these guys have been ready to try and do a great lap. So yes, it's going to be exciting. You can see the line kind of already forming on the track there, the black lines where people have screeched out of those corners, and we're seeing the cars and the drivers heading on past. They'll need to make sure that they have enough time, though, enough space in between the cars, otherwise they're going to be in trouble if they're trying to do a really fast lap. They're going to have enough space in front of them to make sure they don't catch up with anybody else as they do their qualifying. But yes, it's going to be good. So over to you, Sean.
Thank you, Hugh. Yeah, we're going to get on board with VSR Giller then. He was the first driver to come out on circuit. So we're going to see if he can set the benchmark for qualifying here. But obviously looking maybe further afield, maybe Nutcap, maybe JDJ just behind. We know he's got pace. We know these commentator's curse, because he's run wide, and he's going to have to go back into the pit lane. So we're going to ride on board with Giller instead then. Hopefully he's not listening to me, and hopefully I am not cursing him right now, because he's looking rather tidy right now, and we'll see exactly the kind of pedigree that Giller can show us, and what sort of lap times we should be expecting in qualifying. It's quite a long circuit here at ALSACE. I do believe it was 5 kilometers in length, so quite a lengthy circuit in the French countryside of the village of ALSACE. But we're just approaching the final few corners now. Very, very tidy as he takes the left-hander up the hill, through the arch, down the hill, and it's really, really important to get the braking nailed on for the final 2 corners here. So takes it with aplomb, and then through to the final bend and the right-hand kink, and is about to come across the line with a 2-minute 1.6. That's actually very, very fast. But Puma Nutcap goes onto pole position by 300th of a second to go onto pole position. Then Wolfie comes across the line with a 201.3, and actually Vars and Kennels replace him, followed by Chad's moving up into second position. But it looks like Fish is a man on the mission right right now because he's just set a 2-minute point 779. But where is Levitius? Because Levitius, we are expecting him to be rather competitive. So in fact, he is just about to come around the final. Oh, he just shaves the wall on the right-hand king, and that will have cost him time, and he comes across the line to position himself into 12th position, which is certainly not the position we come to expect from Levitius. But we've got 5 minutes left in this qualifying session. Do you feel, Hugh, that we will get some late last gasp efforts coming in towards the end of qualifying?
That's going to put Levitius back a bit there, and it's as you say, it's such a long lap here. They really have to make the best use of it. Now he is continuing on and doing another lap, but we'll have to wait and see how he actually gets on. I think there will be last minute lunges, and last minute they're going to go, because of course when they cross the line, even if there's just a few seconds left, they will get the full lap at the end of qualifying, so that will allow them to complete that lap, which is slightly different from the SMA series before. But they're going to have to use their laps very, very carefully and make the most of it. And as you say, it's very easy to run a little bit wide and hit a wall, as Levitius did there, but I'm sure he'll be coming back. He's coming into this left-hander now, which is a wonderful corner, and under the bridge, of course, you've got this long right-hander which takes it out of the tyres, and you've got to get the right line as well, because it's so long. You want to clip the apex as you head out, and then you can go flat out all the way. But what will Levitius do? He's about 2/3 of the way through the lap. He's going to be clicking that time. He is 5/10 ahead of his best time so far, but will that be enough? Obviously, he had his... Oh, he's gone a bit wide on that curb, but we'll have to see as he comes up the hill, almost home. In 12th place, there is Levitius with his purple livery, which looks very good indeed. But Vars Vardovis did that wonderful time of a 2 minutes 0.7, which was as quick as Levitius did in practice. We'll be able to find out. Here he comes now. Complete that here. There's no touching of the walls this time. But it's a bit slower. It's a 2:02, so he's quite a bit away. Quite a bit away. It's all happening, Sean, just as we thought. I'll hand it back over to you.
Thank you, Hugh. Yes, I am absolutely shocked by this. That was Levitius' second attempt, and could only manage a P11 as JDJ moves up into 7th position with a 2-minute 1.3. But yeah, certainly the driver looking rather competitive right now is VSR Fish. He has got an 800th of a second lead over VSR Richard, who currently finds himself in a second position. Now, with Richard, I've noticed with his times as he goes purple through sector 1, I've noticed that in the time trials for the daily races, Richard is a man to be reckoned with. He is phenomenally fast, and he's regularly in the top 50 globally on the timing charts. So Richard, I think, it could be a man to watch in this race, that is for sure. Certainly with his second position. We do have his teammate Wolfie just behind him. He will be picking up a little bit of slipstream, so that should help him out, currently in 5th position. And then we've got Chaz in 3rd position, the first of the TNR drivers, currently in 3rd position. Kennels as well. Kennels doing really, really well as Richard goes back into the pits now. I do believe if they cross the line just before the 10-minute allotted time, they can finish their lap time, so they can really maximize the full length of qualifying here. So Richard, I don't know if he's done for now, but he's spending quite a fair chunk of time in the pit lane right now. But we'll try and focus on a driver that is coming towards the line now. So that will be Kennels, currently in 4th position. He's 3.5 tenths down on pole sitter VSR Fish. Can he improve on this lap though? That is the question. We do see Nutcap in the distance as Wolfrey moves up. No, in fact, he stays in P5 as Kennel just grazed the wall on the right-hand kink, and he's gone slower. That has cost him. And Nutcap wasn't able to go quicker, currently in 9th position. So we are literally in the final embers of this 10-minute qualifying, and it's looking like Fish is good for his pole position, but can anyone challenge him? Oh, and I was just about to say Chaz might have been that man, but he clatters the wall, and that cost him dearly, because yeah, he lost about 0.4 of a second at least, maybe even more, but still a brilliant qualifying session for Chaz in third position. But we have got Latari, and again, Latari is full of surprises, who did seed in fourth position going into the first round of the MSA Cup. So can Latari pull it out of the bag? That is the question, as he tries to follow compatriot KLM Pace, making his debut for the SMA and the MSA. So it's going to be interesting to see how he performs here, as this will be the last lap then. So if they can't go quicker, then Fish will start on pole position. Just to run you through the grid though: Wolfie 5th, JDJ 6th, Puma Racing Neil 7th, and then oh, okay, no, I was wrong. I thought it was going to carry over, but I was wrong. So
it's one of those things, Sean.
So on pole position then, we've got VSR Fish then, who got a rapid 2:07.779, just under a tenth quicker than his teammate Richard, who holds second position. That'll be our front row for this race, with the second row going to Chaz in third with a 2:01.0 and Kennels in fourth with a 2:01.1. Very, very close times indeed, because VSR Wolfie starting from row 3, just 600th of a second down on Kennels in fifth position. VSR JDJ will start in sixth position on the third row. Then we got Puma Racing Neil in seventh position with the exact same time as JDJ. The exact same splits. I'm guessing JDJ hit that time before Neil did, but that is the exact same split. So nothing separating the two drivers, but Neil will start from P7 on row 4. Then we've got Latari Racing starting alongside him in 8th position. And then our 14-year-old sensation Nutcap is starting on 9th position from the 5th row. And then VSR Giller will be in close proximity of him and will start in 10th position. We've got KLM Pace starting from 11th position, and a big shock here, Levitius starting from 12th position on the 6th row. I mean, obviously we've got a long race ahead of us, but I did not expect that at all. And then starting from the back of the grid on row 7 is RSA Rusty. Yeah, Hugh, that is a big shock to me. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that is incredible. That's like Lewis Hamilton going out in qualifying 1, isn't it? It's a big news. But Levitius was very fast in practice, and he also did a 2:07, which was the same as Varsvartovis's time in qualifying. So I think the pace is most certainly there. Hopefully everything is working reliably for him, unless he's had a technical glitch. But I think he might well be doing his best to race through the field. But it's so close. And look at the drivers; is very, very close indeed over the first. The whole field is not really spread by very much, and great performances there, as you see, by Kennels, by Wolfie, JDJ, Puma Racing Neo. There's really not much in it. It's going to be exciting to see what happens as they're in the pits, but soon, in just a minute or two's time, they'll be starting the race. And of course, there's a false start check, so they want to make sure they get it right. Can't wait for it, Sean, and we're just seconds away.
Yes, indeed. And I just got to ask you I was going to ask you, but we're about to get underway. So, yeah, we are starting very, very shortly, guys, as we kick off the first round of the MSA Cup. USA Cup 2025 round 1 is underway, and VSR Fish leads the train through turn number 1. VSR Richie just behind him in second position, and Chaz following suit in third. Wolfie has already made up a position on Kennels up into P4. Kennels will try and fight off JDJ and Neil, and actually JDJ has been moved past from Neil up into 6th position. Then JDJ down into 7th, and Nutcap into 8th position as well, moving up to, it looks like 1 position as well. So jostle for position through the right-hander there, little bit untidy there, but no fatalities, so to speak. But Nutcap has lost many a position there. Might have to have a look on the replay when we get a chance to. But Latari Racing P11, KLM Pace P12 and Rusty in 13th position, but they are how they are in the top 3. But how's he looking for you so far, Hugh?
Oh, Levidius is up to 8th place. There have been quite a few passes there, and he's looking to try and go for Glara Brown. Just as we do that, he goes up into 7th place. There's been quite a lot of touching and pushing there, a bit like the touring cars in BDCC, but they're managing to stay on the track as they come round the right-hander towards the second section.
Levitis up the inside of Kennels and moves up into P6, and he's making lots of positions right now, Hugh, because he started from P12. He's moved up 6 positions on lap 1. Absolutely incredible. So Levitis is certainly a man on a mission. He's on the soft tyres as well, so he'll be on the superior grip compared to all the drivers in front of him that are on the racing medium tyres. So Levitis is looking down the gauntlet now to try and pick up as many positions as possible as far as the tyres go, because they're at their freshest as Levitis goes up the inside. Oh, there's contact between him and Wolfie, and Levitis will back off for the time being, but we're going to have a look on a replay on that very, very shortly. But Levitis will have the supreme confidence and speed going through the corners as we come up to turn 1 now. Can he make the move on him? There may be a steward's investigation on that move from Levitis. We'll have to wait and see. But currently, right now, he has given that position back to Wolfie, and for now, he's in 5th position, up 7 positions, as we got many a driver just behind in the background as Levitis tries to sling one up the inside of Wolfie and makes it with aplomb into 4th position. So we have got quite a tussle behind, though, where we've got Kennels trying to hold off the likes of Nutcap, Puma Racing Neil and KLM Pace, who's moved up about 4 positions. So yeah, there are going to be a lot of movers and shakers throughout the grid here, and this is definitely a hard one to stay on board with, you.
Yeah, it's all happening. We've got Puma Racing Neo in a big battle between KLM Pace and Glara Brown just in front. You can see the paintwork peeling off those cars. Oh, and there's a bit of a touch there, and Pace has a huge slide, and they're all going off. Oh, into the barriers they go. Rusty's gone off as well. Pace has gone off, and I think there was 1 or 2 others involved. I don't know if Racing Neo was involved in that too, but for JDG also recovering. So a very big incident there, but they're back on track and they're rejoining now.
Indeed, let's have a look on board with the replays here. And yeah, it just got all kinds of untidy there, and unfortunately tagged the back of Neil's car and sent him into the barrier, and that was yeah, a little bit unlucky, I think.
Yeah, it's very, very close though, isn't it? The speed is so close, so near to your rivals. It's very easy to make a little mistake there. In the meantime, Vars Vardovis is still heading on, but my goodness, Levidius is in 4th place as well, and it's all catching. But Richard, who said to me earlier, well, in the lobby yesterday, that this was not his favourite combination, is certainly showing his skills here, because he is keeping the pressure on Vars Vardovis in second, just ahead of him in 1st place. But it's fantastic so far. Lots of action, Sean.
Yes, indeed, indeed. I am just trying to find the right battle, but it is literally kicking off up and down the grid right now, Hugh. So hopefully we'll get lucky here and find the right onboard. But it looks like the drivers from sort of 10th position downwards have carried on with their race. So KLM Pace just leading Puma Racing Neil for the time being. However, Neil has got damage. No, sorry, KLM Pace has got damage to his his front bumper and side aero as well. So yeah, Neil actually making it look easy, getting past Kaylen Pace into that top 10 position then, of course nursing the car as we speak. Rusty has moved up into P12, and it looks like JDJ was one of the victims from that accident as well. He's all the way down in 13th position and 8.5 seconds adrift of Rusty, who is that position in front of him. Now remember guys, we have got a promotion and relegation system in play from this race, so the bottom 3 drivers from tier 1 will get relegated into tier 2 next week, so they really do need to avoid the drop zone if they are to claim as many points as possible throughout the championship. But so far we've got Fish, who has the lead at the moment by 0.8 of a second over teammate VSR Richard, who is currently just about 8.5 tenths ahead of Chaz in 3rd position, and Levitius is now starting to close in and home in to his teammate of Chaz to steal that 3rd position away from him. Now I don't know if they're on the radio right now, but I would imagine Levitius will be shouting, let me through, let me through. We'll see. But yeah, Levitius of course on the racing soft tyres, and he should be faster at this point of the race. Now in terms of the strategy as well guys, it's looking like that the soft tyres will last anything in between 7 and 9 laps before they start losing pace and the mediums become quicker. So Levitius, I'm sure, will be aware of this as he looks to go up the inside of Chaz now on this cambered right-hander, and yeah, it makes it look very, very easy. And I think Chaz just kind of came off the throttle as well to allow Levitius through and carry on with their respective races. But yeah, we've got Wolfie in P5, Kennels in P6, Nutcap again the beneficiary of some of the fighting behind, up into P7. So they're all on the medium tyres right now. Gillard is also on the mediums, with Latari on his back bumper in 9th position right now, also using the medium tyres. So yeah, we've got Neil also top 10, and yeah, they're playing catch up at this point. So I do wonder whether or not, Hugh, they'll be changing up their strategy.
I think Levitius went on those soft tyres because he was starting from the back, and he thought, well, let's try and do something a bit different. He's got nothing to lose, and certainly he's up into that 3rd place. He had a phenomenal slide and real tank slapper coming through the corners in the first section there of the lap, and very nearly gave the place back to Chaz in 4th, but managed to keep the car back on the track and stay in 3rd place. But he's already getting through his tyres. His front left looks pretty dodgy there, or certainly getting towards a bit worn. So you'll have to watch that, because he's lost quite a bit of time, 1.2 seconds behind VSR Richard, and then he's going to have to change to the medium tyres. So how will this do? Because the other drivers will then be going onto their softs, and they'll be able to go a lot longer as well on that medium tyre. So it's all beginning to happen. We'll have to see. I think Levitius is clutching at straws here. When he has to do his pit stop, I think that's when we'll really see where he is on track.
Yes, indeed. He's still pretty bunched up at the top, I have to say. Yeah, you can see that Levitius now doesn't really have the advantage. You can see with the tyre wear that even though it doesn't look too bad on the graphic, actually, in these Group 4 cars, once they sort of hit the 25% mark, this is when they start losing a bit of time, and actually not too much of an advantage being on the softer of the tyres. So you can kind of see that it's reflecting with the gap between Levitius and Chaz right now. Of course, Chaz has got the slipstream, but with the Group 4 cars, it's not so prevalent, the slipstream strength, although it does help all the same. We have just seen that Chaz has gone purple through Sector 2, Sector 1, sorry. So it does look like Chaz is starting to come into his own and find that rhythm into absolutely trying to nail these corners and get the most out of these medium tyres. But yeah, anything that you can see from your point of view here, Hugh?
I'm just looking right at the back there to see what's been happening, but certainly the incidents earlier has caused real problems, and for poor old JDJ and KLM Pace, they're going to have to really watch, because they are in the drop zone, aren't they? They're in the relegation zone, so they're really going to have to make the most of their tyres. They're on the racing medium, so they can at least go further, but they're going to have to do some sensational laps to try and catch up, because they're a long way off the rest of the field. But yes, pit stops are going to be crucial, and as you say, the cars being so close, slipstream affecting them, they're going to have to be as consistent and try and avoid any mistakes. But it's now spreading out a little bit, and it's certainly calmed down. But there's still plenty of battles throughout the field, but it's maybe we can catch a breath here and there.
Yes, indeed. Well, let's have a look and see if there is anyone in close proximity of each other. But it does look like from about 9th position downwards, it's all kind of spreading out right now. The gaps are still the same between Fish and Richard for P1 and P2. Levitius, though, is starting to close the gap to Richard now. The gap is currently about a second, and Chaz is hanging on to that slipstream of Levitius in P4. Then there is... Oh, okay, Levitius... I think examples there where he is starting to lose that grip now. You can see with the tyre delta that the tyres are starting to fall off a cliff, and you can really see that Chaz is starting to home in on his current teammate. So I do wonder whether or not Levitius will be coming in for his first stop very soon, as he goes a little bit wide, and it looks like Chaz should get the run on him and get past Levitius, and Levitius will let him through. He's got the dirty tyres as well, so he's going to have to be a little bit careful through this corner. He's not going to have the grip. And now you're going to start seeing Chaz pulling away, and he'll try to catch up with the top two. But of course, what Levitius will be in danger of now is that Wolfie will start closing the gap. The gap is about 1.8 seconds, not quite in that slipstream range, but all the same, Wolfie should be on much better tyres now, being that Levitius's softs are starting to really fall off a cliff now. So will Levitius pit at the end of this lap with quite a few mistakes that he's made in this race, which is very uncharacteristic of him, I have to say. We are talking about the reigning SMA champion right now, who won 10 of the 12 races that were featured in that GT500 championship. So Levitius, to say that it's like winning the lottery in terms of like the mistakes he makes, which is basically saying he doesn't make many mistakes. So yeah, we will see. In fact, Levitius has stayed out, so Levitius does stay out, but I do presume, Hugh, he'll be coming in imminently.
Yeah, he did say it was tough on that front left tyre, because if you look at the rest of his tyres, they're actually not too bad. The back tyres are excellent, but it's his front left that's really giving away. He's down to nearly half the wear on our details here. So yeah, that's going to be... Oh, he's running wide on all these long right-hand bends. He's really struggling, and if you go into the grass here, it's going to make things 10 times worse. He's going to watch his lines, but I think it's not like, you know, he's having to face a real battle here. But I think with his strategy, he's going to have to come in at some point and put on those mediums. Oh, he runs wide again, coming over the curb and onto the grass, but he's still about 1.5 seconds behind Chaz, and VSR Wolfie has reduced the gap to just under 2 seconds. So can he keep going? But certainly it's very good driving from the top four, as we see there, and then throughout the field. But the big story is, can Levitius make something of this? Because what do you think, Sean? If he pits now and puts mediums on, do you think he's going to come out near the front at the end?
Well, this is it. I think sooner rather than later he is going to have to come in, because he's losing time now. You can see with the lap delta, actually, his last time was a 2-minute 4.3, which is a good, well, nearly 2 seconds a lap slower, as he goes wide again. Wow. So Levitius really struggling on them tyres, and well, yeah, if I was him, and he doesn't make too many bad calls here, if I was Levitius, I think I would come in now, which means that he'll need to run the mediums for 18 laps, unless he does the two-stopper. But he stays out. He stays out. Okay, that is a big shock. Now, Chaz, in the meantime, is closing into the back of Richard now. The gap is, well, just not even a car length now. So Chaz really homing in on the two VSR drivers and looking good to take that position. Now Richard, will he defend for his life? No, he won't. It will be Chaz that goes up the inside of him and take that second position away from him. Maybe Richard is thinking of the bigger picture here and looking at the full race in general. Try not to lose too much time. Go for the race time rather than the race position. So Chaz takes that position. Now he'll be trying to close in on Richard's teammate Fish to grab the race lead. The gap is about 0.7 of a second, but at the moment Richard is staying in company of him, so Chaz will be aware of Richard in the background, and he'll be very big in the mirrors. So it's more about you know, concentrating on your line and not focusing on the race mirrors. The car mirrors, and you know, so that you get the best times possible. But you can see, yeah, the gap is 0.9 of a second separating the top two. Levitius, meanwhile, though, Levitius, look at his tyre wear now. So they are really dropping off now. Wolfie is closing that gap now. It is I was going to say between a second and 1.5 seconds, and Nutcap has made the move on Kennels. So Nutcap has made the move on Kennels, so they swap positions. Nutcap into P6 and Kennels into P7. So the young South African starting to make inroads to the top of the grid then. So I do wonder if, was that a little bit of a squirrely moment from Nutcap? I did hear tyre screeching there. Not 100% sure what happened there, but Kennels is looking to fight Nutcap as he comes through to turn one on the inside, and Kennels does make it stick and move up into 5th position. Levitius, meanwhile, has come into the pits to change off of them racing soft tyres. Is he going to go back onto the soft tyres, or will he run a long stint on the mediums? We'll have to wait and see, but he has changed onto the mediums and just tucks in just behind Latari in 10th position. So nearly a coming together between the two drivers, teammates of course, but yeah, Levitius down into 10th position. I got a feeling he's going to run these to the end, but we'll have to wait and see. But just looking further afield as well, we've got JDJ in 11th, KLM Pace in 12th, Rusty in 13th position. Now Rusty has made the stop. He's on the soft tyres now. He's 6.2 seconds behind KLM Pace, who looks like he's still on the old racing medium tyres, as well as JDJ. So they will need to stop at some point. But
big battle up front for Chaz and Varsvartovas. Chaz has taken the lead from Varsvartovas.
Right, okay, thank you, Hugh. Thank you, Hugh. We'll have a look on the replay shortly. I've got it saved. But yeah, he's fighting tooth and nail to hold off Fish right now. So Chaz will be fighting for his life. He'll be fighting for the race lead and trying to slow down the two VSR drivers. I think we are maybe safe enough to maybe look at the replay. So we'll see if we did catch it or not. And in fact, we just caught the final embers of it, but it looks like he just took the inside line. Vartovis left the door open, and Chaz said, "Thank you very much." But yeah, it is how it was from the last shot that we looked at there, and Chaz is leading ahead of Fish and Richard for the top three. Then we got VSR Wolfie in 4th position, who is 4.1 seconds adrift, but he has actually gapped Kennels by 1.8 seconds now, and Kennels actually has taken or extended the gap between him and Nutcap, because they were near enough bumper to bumper last time we saw them, Hugh, but the gap now is just beneath 2 seconds.
Yes, the Glara Brown is certainly has fallen away, and Kennels has pulled ahead, so 5th and 6th. Again, we'll need to look at Nutcap. He's on the racing medium tyres, but his tyres are beginning to wear a bit, certainly on that front left, and he's got half a tank of fuel, so there's no problems there. But yeah, his mediums are maybe beginning to show signs of wear. What is interesting here is that if Levitius goes on, now that he's on the medium tyre, tries to run to the very end, but remember we've got all the other drivers who will be coming in to to change to the racing soft, giving him a faster tyre. And I think Levitius might just be a little bit too far away. We'll have to see how that develops. But it's looking very, very interesting. I think he's just trying to do any strategy he can, because he started from 12th. He's in 9th at the moment, but he's 22 seconds behind the Chaz in first place. Will that be enough? What kind of time do we have here for a pit stop, Sean? Can he make that work? Of course, other drivers will have to do it, but is it more than 22 seconds?
So the actual pit lane loss, if they weren't to take fuel on board, it is, I've been told it's 13 seconds. So it's a very short pit lane and a very fast stop. But it looks like, Levitius looked like he pulled the handbrake there. The tyres were screeching around that hairpin. Yeah, it looks like Levitius has taken a little bit of fuel on board, because the reason why I say this, Hugh, is because some fuel saving is required in this race. I'm not sure by how much, but I know that some fuel saving is required. So if you was to do a little bit of fuel saving and just change your tyres, then I've been told 13 seconds, maybe nearer to 20 seconds if you are to take fuel on board.
It's very close then. He's not making big gains, but he's 22 seconds and just a bit more away from first place. So it'll be interesting. Maybe Chaz is going to try and slow everybody up, so that his teammate there has a chance. Perhaps they've been on the radio there saying, come on, keep battling, because Chaz is still ahead of Vartavis. But an interesting strategy. Will it work, or will it just be a little bit too much to ask? But there's Puma Neil as well in 8th, so things are happening throughout the field. It's been quite amazing how the grid is nothing like it was, really, apart from the first couple or 2 or 3 drivers. It's really it's changed quite dramatically since the start.
Yes, it has indeed. It has indeed. But, as we always say, Hugh, it's all about being consistent, isn't it? It's all about picking the right strategy. Don't fight too much. Concentrate on your own race pace and hope that you finish at the top of the grid rather than being further down the grid. Certainly it does look like that the likes of Fish and Richard have been playing a smart game here. Fish has closed the gap to Chaz, who currently leads the race of round 1 right now, but they're very close on fuel. But you look at Richard, he has got half a tank of fuel, so he's got a fair chunk more than the drivers in front of him. So maybe the race will start coming into his zone for Richard in the latter part of this race. Yeah,
definitely, because I'm looking at that. I mean, Levitius put on quite a bit of fuel, but the others, as you say, are a bit lower. But Richard's done a great job of fuel saving, and they're almost at half distance. We're at roughly about halfway through lap 13. It will be half distance. So yeah, they're doing a great job there, and that means that should really help VSR Richard when he comes to do his pit stop, because he shouldn't need to take any on. It's very exciting, and we can't wait to see what is going to happen when these pit stops start happening. But Richard's tyres look reasonable. They're not too bad. He's maybe about a third of the way through, which on those medium tyres will keep him there. And you can see that all the time that Chaz and Vartavis are racing, he can relax.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and it's looking like Fish was trying to size an opportunity up on Chaz there, but thought better of it. Backed off for the time being as Chaz runs a little bit wide, yeah, certainly Fish playing the patient game here, I think, and making sure that he doesn't eat into the tyre life there by pushing a bit too much, but yeah, certainly with the fuel, as we mentioned, yeah, there is a bit of a difference between teammates Fish and Richard. We heard that what's happened to Hugh?
Levitius went very wide indeed onto the grass. Coming out of the right-hander, that's going to certainly slow him down a bit. We'll see what his sector times are in about 10 seconds as he comes to complete sector 2, but he's been quite ragged there in that Porsche. Quite often you see him on the grass and on the dust. What will that time do? Let's see as he comes round now. He's just going over the sector 2 time, and he's lost 7/10 on that sector alone. So he's pushing like crazy because he's going to have to. But that's the update from Levitius, certainly.
Right, okay. Well, the update from the top of the grid is that actually Chaz has started to pull a gap to Fish then, just under a second. So again, I don't know if Fish is playing the smart game here and thinking, you know what, we'll save a little bit of fuel here. But yeah, it does definitely look like Chaz has been the driver that has been pushing. But actually with Fish though, the tyre life is there's slightly more degradation on his tyres to Chaz. So yeah, and Richard actually, to be honest, I mean, I don't know how they do it, to be honest with you, but actually Richard has used his front left tyre more than the other two drivers as well. So even though he's been using less fuel, and it would suggest that he's been you know, not pushing as much, but he has been using more of his tyres up. But we are on lap 13 of 25, and you know, it's just a case of what kind of strategy are they going to use here, because there is another strategy that they can use, which is the two-stopper, and that is 2 stints of the soft tyre and then a longer stint of the medium tyres. Now we are starting to get into that window now where if they were to pit at the end of this lap, they could maybe do 6 on the softs and 5 on the softs. In fact, it'd be the end of the next lap, sorry guys. So it'd be the end of lap 14. That could be a viable strategy as well. So maybe that is something that Richard is looking to do here. We have obviously mentioned that the pit lane loss is about 13 seconds if you weren't to take on fuel. Now, looking at Richard's fuel situation right now, we're on lap number 13, so we're just at the 50% mark now, and he's got just under half a tank of fuel. Is that going to be enough fuel to last, or is he going to have to top up the fuel? That is the question. But I do wonder whether or not he's firmly got it in his thoughts that maybe that could be a viable option, Hugh.
Yeah, I think he might just need a little drop, but certainly nowhere near as much as the others, which means that he should be able to pull out and get the lead, because if it's going to take nearly 20 seconds to do a pit stop, if you've got to add in a lot of fuel, which the others might have to do, he might only need literally a second or two of fuel, and that means his stop might just be about 15 or 16 seconds, and that should keep him at bay and get him back into the lead. But it's going to be it's enthralling, because what's going to happen, or is somehow Levitius going to come out of nowhere and end up in first place? We just never know. But lots of great driving though coming through now. It looks like Galana Brown has also got ahead of Nutcap, so a good battle there. I've just noticed coming through. He's made about 1.5 seconds on him, but Nutcap is still there. Showing.
Yeah, Levitius just made the move on Puma Racing Neil then to move up into P8. It was actually quite an easy move in the end from Levitius. I was quite surprised that Neil made it that easy, but it looked like Levitius got on the brakes a little bit later than Neil, went around the outside to make the move stick. So it was a very daring move from Levitius, and perhaps good respect from Neil as well to allow him the space to make the opportunity work. And yeah, Levitius up a position, so we'll have a quick look on the replay to see exactly how that happened. But the way he set it up there was that he was on the outside there, and it looked okay, so Neil just backed off in the braking zone, so allowed Levitius through, which I was a little bit surprised with. I thought he may battle for that position because that is on merit after all, but yeah, Neil the gentleman allows Levitius through, maybe thinking again, look, maybe I can be a little bit sneaky here, maybe I can try to stick to the back of Levitius, use that slipstream and try to save a little bit of fuel maybe.
Yeah, he's got just over a quarter of a tank left, and his medium tyres are looking a little bit worn, but not too bad, and he is trying to stay in touch with Levitius as they come to complete lap 14. But yeah, they'll soon all be coming into the pits, and then they'll be on to the softs. But can they go, if they can go that 16 or 17, or lap 16 and 17, you just wonder, could they maybe stretch out the softs for a little bit longer, do you think? Because I mean, Levitius managed to do quite a few laps on his softs, so maybe they might just be stretching it out, and then it's all to play for, because they're going to be on a much faster tyre as they come to the end of the race.
Yeah, this is all questions up in the air at the moment. This is the kind of window, if they are going to change it up, do the two-stopper, this is the kind of lap that you probably will need to make the change. Otherwise, it's looking like it will be a one-stopper for many of the drivers. We are on lap 15 of 25. The gap between Chaz and the Fish is 1.3 seconds now. So Fish starting to lose the slipstream to Chaz. And Chaz doing a really good job actually on the fuel. It's very, very close between the pair of them. So it just seems to be that Chaz is just that little bit racier on Warner tyres, I think, to Fish. But actually, when you look at the tyre delta, Fish is starting to lose the grip, or the degradation on the tyres are starting to fall off a cliff now, and you can see now it's about 50%, and then mediums will be crying for help right now, I have to say. It does look like Chaz is just managing the situation better than the VSR drivers, with the gap now at 1.8 seconds. If we look a little bit further field down to fourth position for VSR Wolfie, he is, well, in fact the gap last time we looked at him was roughly about 4 to 5 seconds to Richard. It's now 2.5 seconds now. So I don't know, I really thought Richard might have swapped it up, but it does look like obviously with the teams that they're probably going to be very similar on their strategies, so it's quite unusual to see one of the drivers swap it up a little bit, but yeah, certainly I would expect some of these drivers to start coming in to get off their medium tyres, particularly when you've got the lower fuel as well, the lighter load in the cars, so the tyres should last a little bit longer, so maybe extend the life of the soft tyres perhaps, but we'll have to wait and see. We have got Kennels in P5 as well, who is 6.3 seconds adrift of Wolfie. We've got Giller, who is closing in, I'd have to say, on Kennels in P6 to 2.3 seconds. And then we got Nutcap, who, wow, his tyres are pretty much decimated on that front left tyre. It's looking like he's really struggling to save the tyres in that Porsche Cayman car. Currently in P7, and Levitius is now starting to home in on the Puma sensation that is Nutcap. Oh, as Levitius goes a little bit wide out of the exit there, again pushing a little bit too hard, and it was desperate in his attempt to try to rescue the car there. Nearly lost control of the car, just about kept the car pointing forward, Hugh.
Wow, yeah, they're all going. In fact, Chaz has gone very wide coming out of that right-hander there as they approach the left, going up the hill for the final section of the track. And then he goes down the hill there. It looks as if Vars Vartavus and Richard have really dropped a wee bit there. They're 3.5 seconds now behind Chaz. So I just wonder, are they just trying to stretch it out? But they don't want to lose too much time, because if they're thinking about coming into the pits on this lap or the next, they want to make sure that they don't lose any time at all, because they're really slow. In fact, they're struggling. Vars Vartavus comes into the pits. So you're right, Sean. He was going to have to come in any second, and he's done so now.
Right, but interestingly, his teammates staying out, and Chaz going for one more as well, or maybe two more, who knows. We've got also Giller coming in from 6th position as well, so it does mean Nutcap has stayed out. Now that has shocked me. I thought Nutcap was going to dive into the pits with his current tyre wear, so he does temporarily move up into 6th position with a fast looking Levisis behind him, of course on much fresher medium tyres. And I'm pretty sure with Levitius now, I think he's starting to get a bit of confidence up again, Hugh, because now he's starting to propel himself further up the grid. If we're talking about where he started from qualifying, he has moved up 5 positions, and he will know as well that a lot of the drivers in front of him will need to make the stop. So Levitius now maybe quietly confident that he can start thinking of maybe a podium, or at least very close to it. We'll have to wait and see, but look how much he has closed that gap to Nutcap. Oh, as he goes wide again. Wow, Levitius again pushing the car to the limit and pushing it too far. Runs wide, and he thought about going up the inside of the Nutcap, but thought better of it. particularly with his incident earlier on in the race. So, you know, looking to, well, look, Nutcap has left the door open. Levitius, it looks like he's going to fill that gap now. They're going to be side by side as we come up to the hairpin. Pure Nutcap, well, I mean, I think he's going to defend the inside. Yes, he does. Levitius, will he try the switchback though? Oh, they're going to be side by side again. Nutcap on the inside. And this is Levitius just behind. So Levitius gives way to Nutcap. Nutcap is defending for his life as the top 3 drivers do come in to change their tyres. Will Nutcap come in now? Maybe Levitius knows that Nutcap will be coming in imminently, and that's why he didn't want to cause a catastrophe, knowing that he will be able to slingshot his way past as Nutcap does come into the pits from 6th position. So Levitius has propelled himself up into, oh, I thought maybe he would take the position from Wolfie away, but Wolfie comes back out on track in 4th position. And the top 3 drivers, how they are, Hugh?
My goodness, but of course now the top 3 drivers are on the soft tyres, so they're going to be pulling away because they're on very good tyres, while Levitius is on the medium tyre, so they might struggle a wee bit there, but yes, they're on the racing softs from Chaz and Richard and Vars Vartavis. So yes, and then Wolfie in 4th place is also on the racing soft. So will he start? Yeah, he's 1.5 seconds ahead of Levitius. So it looks like they can maybe pull away, and we'll see how that develops.
Yes, we will indeed, and it looks like VSR Richard got the jump on Fish. Of course, we knew about Richard saving a little bit more fuel than Fish, so that was all the difference to propel himself up into 2nd position, and Fish will be just behind him in 3rd. But of course, they are teammates. I'm pretty sure they'll be working together to try to catch up with Chaz, who is still just 2.2 seconds up the road, so definitely within grasp of homing in on the TNR driver. But Chaz certainly showing the true pace that he possesses, and yeah, with fresh soft tyres, I do wonder what he does here. Does he conserve the tyres a little bit here, or does he push to the very limits? I guess we'll find out in the next couple of laps here with their lap times, because the current fastest lap time is set from RSA Rusty with a 2-minute 2.0. Now I do wonder whether or not they'll completely blitz that time, because we know of the pedigree of these drivers, plus with less fuel as well, and Chaz didn't clatter the wall on the outside there, so it looks like it was a great outlap from Chaz, and the gap has extended by another couple of tenths, I think, Hugh.
Yep, and we're looking at racing Neil. He's come in for his pits. He was almost out of fuel completely, so that has allowed Levitius to head on, but as we see it there, Wolfie is 2.9 seconds ahead of Levitius and pulling away on those racing soft tyres, and now it's Galara Brown who is behind Levitius, but it's about 7 seconds away. So if we look at his tyres, he's on the racing soft though, so can Galara Brown manage to catch up with Levitius? It's 7 seconds at the moment, but perhaps he will be able to draw Levitius in. What a battle that will be.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, we're definitely getting into the final embers of the race, and this is where things will definitely get a bit tasty. We just saw that Oh, I heard some screeching in the background. I thought somebody became a cropper and a victim of this circuit, but I think they were just pushing a little bit too up. But I was just about to say that Puma Racing Neil has re-entered onto the circuit to P9, just in front of Latari, who is the fastest man on the circuit right now, with the fastest lap time of a 2-minute 1.7. So we'll see if Latari can keep up with this type of pace, because I'm sure he'll be looking over his shoulder with JDJ in P11 and Pace and Rusty in the drop zone right now. 14th position, Jensen will be starting from Tier 2, who wasn't able to make this race, so he'll definitely be in Tier 2 for next week, and it's just a question of whether or not JDJ and Pace can pick up the pace and try to finish outside of the drop zone, which is 12th and 13th position. So So yeah, Latari Racing, looking to try and pull away and try to cement that position for Tier 1 for next week. But just looking at the top of the grid then, it looks like Chaz is pulling away, and he is now the fastest man on the circuit. Not only leading the race, but now has the fastest lap time of a 2-minute 1.6, and he has extended the gap to Richard by a couple of tenths there. Richard also hitting a 2:01.9, so not too far off. But these tenths, just dragging Chaz a little bit further up the grid. We'll see if Richard is playing the smart game here and trying to save them tyres so that he's faster towards the end of the race. The gap between the two teammates of Richard and Fish is a second now as well. So Richard looking pretty consistent right now, and Fish with slightly more tyre degradation to Richard. And then we got Wolfie, who could get pulled into the fight here, I think, because he is just 2.1 seconds behind in 4th position, and then Levitius, who is 4.7 seconds behind Wolfie in 5th position. But of course we know with Levitius, and you can see with his tyre wear there, that they are really getting to that point where they start falling off. And with just evidence of that as Levitius runs wide again, and that would have picked him up a little bit of dirty tyres there, and it's certainly not helping this course.
Yes, it's very tricky here. As you can see, his tyres are getting worse, and he's still 5.8 seconds ahead of Gallara Brown, but Gallara Brown is bringing that down, because it was about 7 seconds, so he's brought it down by 1.2 seconds in the last few laps. But in fact, now it says 5.5 seconds, or it's quite variable there. It's moving quite quickly. Oh, but the Levitius goes right onto the grass as he comes up the hill. He's certainly used to cutting the grass today for sure in that Porsche. But he's gonna have to watch his tyre condition, and also he's got enough fuel to finish with just over 5 laps to go. But he's not making a huge impression on Wolfie. Still 5.4 seconds ahead. But in fact, I think Levitius is just going on the grass just to show off just for us. But he lost 1.6 seconds on that lap alone, Sean. That's a huge amount to lose.
Yes, indeed. And I think with Levitius, I mean, he was supreme in the GT500 Championship, but it seems like a completely different picture in these Group 4 cars. You do have to drive them very differently. It's all about carrying the speed into the corners, and I guess you kind of have to be quite smooth with them as well, particularly with this course as well, with a lot of right-handers being a clockwise direction race course. I was trying to find the words there. So the front left tyre really does start to burn down very, very quickly compared to all the other tyres on the car. So Chaz at the moment looking in confident mood here. 2.8 seconds is the lead over VSR Richard. The gap between Richard and Fish is 1.3 seconds now. So Richard, although trying to stay on tender hooks with Chaz, the gap is 3 seconds, but he is faster than his teammate right now. We've got Wolfie though. He is starting to close in on teammate Fish then. The gap is 1.6 seconds, and we have just we're just about to end lap number 21 out of 25, so there's 4 laps remaining after this one, and Wolfie is looking good to try and challenge for that podium position. Now I do wonder whether or not it'll be team orders or whether or not they are fighting for every position tooth and nail. I don't know. I mean, this is of course the MSA Cup, you know, this is for personal honours, isn't it, rather than team honours. So I do wonder whether or not there'll be a bit of a catfight in the final few laps, Hugh.
Yeah, well, but Gallara Brown is continuing to make the moves there. He's now just 4.2 seconds behind Levitius. And I was going to say Kennels is also doing a great job. He's just 4 seconds behind Gallara Brown. So there's not really much in it. And Kennels is in 7th place. And Nutcap is there in 8th, about 3.7 seconds behind. And then we have Puma Racing Neil there. So there's still a lot of battles to go, people. If you can just see the car in front, you're thinking, maybe I can catch him. There's 4 laps to go. It gives you a bit of hope that there's definitely a chance, as it could be a sniff of the place in front or for the top 3, maybe a really important gain. But Chaz is doing a fantastic job, as we were saying earlier, 3.2 seconds ahead of Richard. But a great race so far, Sean.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who's been saving the tyres, who's going to be quick on them dying softs. And actually, look at Chaz. He is formidable right now. Them soft tyres are looking good, I have to say. When you compare it to Richard, where he's got quite a bit more degradation to that front left tyre, it looks like it's going to be Chaz's race to lose here with the... quite comfortable gap as well. 3.4 seconds is the gap between him and Richard now, and Richard is quicker than his teammate as well. It looks like Fish is struggling on them soft tyres as well. We've still got 3 laps remaining here. I do wonder whether or not them tyres will be usable come the end of the race. And then Wolfie is just behind now. 4 tenths is the gap between him and Fish. So you can also see from the tyre delta, the lap delta, that the last lap from Fish was a 203.0 and Wolfie 202.2, so he gained 8 tenths of a second on that last lap alone. 202.5 for this lap, and Fish with a 203.3. So Wolfie is definitely looking more racier than Fish. Is Fish going to let Wolfie through, or is he going to fight tooth and nail for the last step on the podium? I do wonder, Hugh.
Yes, so under team orders or no team orders, we'll have to wait and see. But he doesn't want to fall too far back, doesn't he? That's the thing. They wanted to try and think, well, maybe I could go for a place further in front. But Wolfie's doing a great job there. And can he manage to get past? And in the meantime, Glara Brown is just 2.2 seconds behind Levitius and closing the gap all the time with just over 2 laps to go. Anything could happen there. Can Levitius... Oh, he's gone wide again coming out of that that right-hander, losing time now, just 2.1 seconds ahead of Glara Brown. But what a battle between 3rd and 4th with Varsvardavis and Wolfie, and it certainly anything could happen there. Well, in fact, it looks like there's 0.1 of a second between them. Varsvardavis still holding his line, but those two doing their best to give us a great show, with Richard just a couple of seconds up ahead.
Oh, he's going to try one around the outside. Oh, there was a little bit of contact, I think, which kind of pushed Wolfie a little bit wide. And Fish is going to try and hang it down the inside, which will be the outside for the next corner. And Wolfie does make his stick and move up into 3rd position. I will save the replay for the time being, but will Fish come fighting back? I do wonder. And it looks like he's going to give up the ghost there, because Wolfie looks like he's got superior grip now and able to start pulling away. So we'll look back on the replay from Wolfie and see exactly how he made that stick. So he tried it around the outside. Fish was trying to, at least try to make it hard for him, but Wolfie just about kept it on circuit and had a little bit more speed going in or through the exit of the corner, and made it stick to move up into 3rd position.
That's a lovely move.
So it is how it is, and I do wonder whether or not Chaz can hold on to this race lead, because as you can see, the gap is further extended now to 4 seconds. In fact, Richard is losing a lot of time right now. We kept seeing the delta change on a corner-to-corner basis. In fact, it's dipped down to 3.9 seconds. So I'm not 100% sure why, but maybe Chad's just thinking, you know what? We've got a lap and a half left. I don't need to push so much now. I can cruise and make sure that we don't make any mistakes and bring home the race victory and the first winner in the MSA Cup 2025. I do wonder, but I'm sure Richard will be very happy with this 2nd position. Of course, he was 3rd place in the SMA GT500 Championship, so we know that he's got great pedigree, and I'm sure he'll be looking to go one better here and really take the fight to many of the drivers beforehand and try to grab the race victory. Now, obviously, 2nd position for this race, but that'll be a good position to finish in or a good start to the championship from the first race, Hugh.
Absolutely. And I can see that his tyres and his fuel are just about the way. A lot of wear on Richard's racing soft tyres and hardly any fuel left. So he's going to be just making it to the finish. Maybe that's why he's backed off a little bit, because Wolfie is not too far away in third place. In fact, just 1.2 seconds. But what a great start to the season, though, for Richard, especially when he said he wasn't that keen on this combination. But he's done a fantastic job there. And Chaz, as you say, 4.5 seconds ahead. He can settle as they start their final lap, Sean, on what has been a great race so far. Now, Levidius is just 1.3 seconds ahead of Clara Brown. Will be something happening there. But on the last lap, I'll hand it over to you.
Yes, indeed. I am just trying to struggle to see where to stay on board. We will have to go back to Chaz at some point on this lap, but it does look like Latari Racing and JDJ will be fighting for honours and fighting for position here, for 10th position on the last lap, as JDJ hangs it around the outside. I don't think he's going to make it work. He did try the cutback. Latari Racing will defend for his life and covers it off with a plum 2, but JDJ in prime position here. But where is Chaz? I think Chaz is close. In fact, he is on sector 2, I think. So we will go back to him, but it's been a formidable race for Chaz. We'll look at further developments for Levitius between him and Galara, but I don't think there's enough time for Gilla to catch up to him, but the gap is 1.2 seconds. So we'll go back on board with Chaz then. So Chaz, he qualified from, and I'm trying to think off the top of my head, he qualified, I think it was top 3, wasn't it, Hugh?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, top 3. That I can't remember if it was second or third, to be fair.
Right.
But a fantastic job to get up there into first place. He's driven away. He's managed to keep ahead of his teammates there, and now doing a fantastic job coming down the hill for the last couple of corners. Sean, it's over to you.
Thank you, Hugh. Yes, so coming across the checkered line now, he's going to be the first winner in the MSA Cup 2025. Congratulations to TNR Papaya Racer with an excellent performance to bring home the victory. And VSR Richie is just going to finish in front of his teammate Wolfie for P2 and P3, and that will round off the podium for today, and they will get interviewed in a short space of time, in a moment's time, sorry. As we've got VSR Fish finishing in P4, Levitius in P5, finishing ahead of Gilla for P6 for him. Kennels will come home in 7th position, and Puma Racing Neil will come home in 8th ahead of 14-year-old Nutcap in 9th, which I'm pretty sure he'll be happy with. JDJ actually did get the move done on the Latari Racing to finish in the top 10, and Latari Racing in 11th, with KLM Pace finishing in 12th position, 1.8 seconds behind Latari Racing. He'll be demoted down into tier 2 for next week, with RSA Rusty, who is 52 seconds behind. He will also find himself in tier 2 for next week. But what a fantastic race that was, Hugh.
That was brilliant and great racing, but it was kind of crazy at the start, but well done, and congratulations to the top 3. That's a fantastic result, and well, the surprise is that Levitius isn't in there. A top 5 position for him, but what an excellent race. The championship is hotting up. That was the first race, many more to come, and I can't wait for the next one, Sean. But that was a great start to the MSA Championship.
Yes, indeed, Hugh. Yes, indeed. So the race results from round 1 at ALSACE in the MSA Cup 2025. So TNR Chaz, congratulations to him. He was formidable in this race, led for most of the race, to be fair, and comes home with the race victory and the fastest lap time of a 2-minute 1.6. Then it was VSR Richard that finished on the second step of the podium with an excellent drive from him. just finishes 6/10 in front of his teammate Wolfie, who had a late surge in this race, who actually grabs the last step on the podium, and we'll get to interview the top three very shortly. We've got VSR Fish, who finished in 4th position, which I'm sure he'll be very happy with as well. And then top 5 position for Levitius. Now, considering how bad his qualifying was, he's made up 7 positions in the race. I think he'll be more than satisfied with his race performance, but perhaps not so happy with his qualifying performance. But fifth position, all the same for Levitius, and that's good points for him. VSR Giller comes home in 6th position. Again, solid result for him, and finishing 7 seconds in front of Kennels, who finished in P7. I did see your comment, actually, Kennels, that your tyres died off, but nevertheless, good position for you. Puma Racing Neil comes home in the top 8, and again, definitely a decent result for him. In 9th position was Nutcap, which is still very, very good points for him. And I'm sure he'll come fighting back throughout this championship with a top 10 finish for JDJ, who had the nightmare start, really, with the big collision at the early part of the race. Was able to salvage something and get into the top 10, and he'll remain in Tier 1 for next week. P11 went to Latari Racing. He grabbed the last position to stay in Tier 1 for next week, with Kalen Pace finishing in 12th and RSA Rusty finishing in 13th. They'll be into Tier 2 as of next week. But we're going to sort ourselves out, guys, and try to get ourselves into the commentary booth, and we'll be interviewing Papaya Racer, VSR Richard and Wolfie, but we'll be starting off with VSR Wolfie. Okay, so Wolfie, I'm going to come to you first. Wolfie, congratulations on that 3rd position. A great fight back in the end. How are you feeling after that?
Hi, good evening. Yeah, that was a lucky race. Had a lot of fun. Happy with the result. I think it's a good way to start off the new season. And I think the top 5, top 6 Oaks had a lucky battle, and it was some excellent driving from Jazz and Richard and Fizz. Very happy, satisfied with the result.
Yeah, great performance from you, Wolfie. Tell us about your race then. Tell us about your strategy and how it went for you.
Yeah, so at the beginning I was trying to feel safe a bit behind someone, but Jazz was just too quick in the beginning there. And then I fell back a bit. And I kept trying to save a bit of fuel because it was worth it in the pits if you were behind someone. And about halfway through the stint I was like, geez, I'm just losing too much time, and I started pushing. And managed to get back the time. And so it was a change of strat halfway through the first stint, and I think it worked out for the best. In the end, I caught up with Fizzy and then got close to Richard, but not enough to threaten number 1 and 2.
Yeah, fair play. I was going to ask you actually, Wolfie. So obviously, in last season of the SMA, you was driving the Group 2 cars. What are your feelings with now that we're in the Group 4s and the Group 3s? Is this more your style of racing?
Yeah, I definitely prefer the Group 4s and Group 3 cars. It's more what we normally drive with, and the Group 4 cars is like it's a lot about you have to keep momentum. It's much more about your racing line and the momentum. It's not a point and square type of thing. So I prefer this type of racing. I didn't have a lot of practice actually for this race. I was away from home most of the last week, so that makes me even more chuffed with the result tonight.
Fair play, fair play. It's just natural talent there, Wolfie, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that, but I'll take the compliment. Thanks.
You're welcome, you're welcome. Hugh, have you got any questions for our third place finisher?
Yeah, what a great result, Wolfie. It was fantastic watching you kind of battling through, especially in those last few laps there, as you managed to get on to the podium. You must be very happy with that result.
Yeah, no, thanks, you. It's a good result. It's a good way to start the season. Let's hope we can carry that momentum. My qualifying is still my Achilles heel, but I'll work on that and see if I can get it better next time round.
Oh, fantastic. No, that's a great result. And we look forward to seeing you next week. I'm sure you'll be just as good and up there fighting for podium places and more.
Thanks, you. Appreciate it. And thanks for you guys doing the stream again. Awesome streams and commentating. Thanks a lot.
You're very welcome. And yeah, thank you, Wolfie. We look forward to seeing you in the next round at Deep Forest.
Looking forward. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Wolfie.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers, bye. And so on to our second position finisher, Richard, VSR Richard even. You know, it was a great race from you. You was at the top of the grid for pretty much the whole race. How's that feel?
No, good. I think it was a good race. I enjoyed it. Like Wolfie mentioned, I think it was very evenly spread out, especially with the grade fours. You need to look at your braking. I tried to feel safe, but yeah, at the end, I think it caught up on me, and yeah, I couldn't keep up with Chaz's pace to save fuel. So yeah, no, well done to him, and yeah, I enjoyed the race. It was a tough race, but it was very enjoyable.
So, Richard, tell us about your race then, because of course, for a lot of laps you was fighting with TNR Chaz, and was there any point that you thought, I might need to change my strategies here, or was it always going to be the one-stopper for you?
Always the one-stopper. Look, I've got a good love-hate relationship with Chaz. I think the admin knows about it as well. So yeah, when I saw he had some pace, I didn't want to battle him too much and lose time to Fizz. So I actually told Fizz on the chat, I'm going to let Chaz pass. I'm not going to battle. And like I said, then I tried to stay with him, but he was too fast. So yeah, it backfired a little bit in my face. But yeah, it was great fun. So then I couldn't keep up, and then I had to rev out. And yeah, from there it's a little bit downhill. And Fizz also had good pace, just 1 or 2 or 3 corners. He made 2 or 3 silly mistakes. Also lost out on the slip on Chaz, and so I actually sit behind Fizz. I didn't want to challenge him, and I think that's why I lost a couple of seconds.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I was constantly looking at the tyre wear between all kind of 4 drivers really, between you 3 VSR boys and TNR Chaz, and it was kind of neck and neck. But one thing I did notice was that you were saving quite a bit of fuel, so you was able to make the jump on Fish, but yeah, unfortunately with Chaz, I think he kind of wisened up on the soft stint and was able to just kind of hold that lead really. But it was a fantastic performance from you, Richard, and you should be very proud of that. And yeah, look forward to seeing you next week. But Hugh, have you got any questions for Richard?
Richard, a fantastic result on a combination that I remember you saying yesterday was not your favourite.
Yes.
So well done, because you've done a phenomenal job there. That's a great result to get second place, and you made it look very easy. In fact, when we were watching you in the early part of the race and we saw you fuel saving and you had so much more there, we thought, oh, you're going to inherit that lead, and very much just about managed to do it. But no, many congratulations on a great result. You must be very happy, and look, and think you can carry that forward next week.
No, thank you. No, I'm very happy. I think there's a fine balance between fuel saving and raw pace out. I think, yeah, if you can manage the consistent times that Chaz did on raw pace, it's not worth it to try to save too much fuel, because you're going to lose too much time, and that's what happened basically to me. But I wasn't that confident to push hard every single lap and burn fuel, and just at the end of the day, putting on the same times but burning out all the fuel. So yeah, I tried to feel safe. I was a lot of the time in sixth gear on the straights, and I saw I was losing some time, but I kept it there. I thought I'll close the gap even more in the pits with the feel safe. But yeah, it didn't work out 100%. But I'm very happy with the result.
Yeah. Well, many congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you next week to see if you can keep up that momentum. But what a fantastic result, and well done, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Richard, and yeah, definitely look forward to you next week at Deep Forest. Maybe a race victory.
Yeah, no, I like Deep Forest. I know Levi and Chas and the guys. Some of the guys are quick there. But yeah, I enjoyed the track. I think I know the braking points, most of the braking points. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a challenge with the great forecast. It's going to be a very close battle again because of the speed of the cars. But yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Interesting indeed, yes, Richard. Well, congratulations on the second position. Yeah, really look forward to it because yeah, it's always a close battle between TNR and VSR, and Deep Forest really does encourage that. So, so good luck for next week, and hope to see you again on the podium interviews.
Yeah, no, I will try my best, and yeah, thank you very much, guys. Let's see what happens.
Thank you, Richard. Take care.
Thanks, boys.
And then to our race victor, that is, well, we have to call him Papaya Racer, but he likes to be called Chaz. Chaz, first person to win a race in the MSA Cup. How does that feel?
That feels good. I feel like it's been a long time coming. Leading off of the last season we did in the SMA. So yeah, feels good to get one under the belt, and even better that it's the first round as well. So yeah, very, very happy.
Yes, indeed. Well, yeah, it was an amazing performance from you. Very, very consistent. You timed your moves to perfection, and then once you had the race lead, you never looked back. Tell us about your race. Tell us about your strategy. What was the plans going into the race, and obviously how it went as well.
I mean, my strategy going in was pretty simple. I would say it was probably the opposite to what Richard kind of mentioned. It, go flat out and didn't really think of fuel saving at all. And I knew if I had free air, I would be able to race at the pace that I had, and I felt like I had really good long run pace, although quali wasn't the best. So yeah, my plan was just to try somehow get to the lead. Probably helped that VSR was maybe doing a bit more fuel saving, but glad on fast I could put the pressure on him. He made a small error and got through, and from there I kind of thought, okay, as long as I can just defend the position, try and get him out of slipstream, which wasn't the easiest. I knew that yeah, after that I could pull away, and yeah, that was kind of the case. And glad I could keep that consistency throughout the stint on the mediums. Yeah, I think the softs, I think my pace was good as well. Softs weren't that easy to drive, but yeah, managed to extend the lead on that, so I was pretty happy. So yeah, it was just about going as fast as possible, I guess, and hope it works out.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't see you make a mistake at all in that race. You know, it looked like you covered every inch of the circuit and just kept it very, very consistent. So congratulations on the race win. And Hugh, have you got any questions for our race winner?
Yeah, fantastic result there, Chaz. And we saw you racing so closely with Levitius earlier on in the race. What was it like battling him? Because he seemed to be struggling tonight there. I know his strategy was different to everyone else at the start because of his qualifying position. But you got the better of him today by far.
Look, we obviously before the race had a quick chat, and obviously didn't have the quali go his way, so he basically said it was going to be on the softs. And when he came past me initially, I think I knew he was on the softs and he was coming at a good rate. But I think we knew the softs were the best tire, and the drop off was going to come. So yeah, I don't want to say I'm beating Ferris going a 1-on-1 battle there, because yeah, I think there was a bit of teamwork at play as well, with me not making it difficult for him and him not making it difficult for me once the kind of pace advantage switched between us two. So I think initially kind of let him go to see if I can just stick in his slipstream. Hopefully he can pull me towards the VSR guys, which did happen initially. But then you kind of hit the drop off where I was managing to get the move done and carry on that momentum towards Richard and Voss.
Yeah. No, a fantastic result. Well done for a great race victory. And do you think you can head that next week and see if you can do the same?
Look, it'll be difficult for sure. I think the gaps are very small within Group 4 cars, and I mean, Richard's got good pace. Wolfie's got great race pace as always, and there'll be, and I'm sure Levitius will be back on it. And so it'll be difficult, but we'll definitely put in the work to see if I do have the pace around there. It's a track that I think I like. So we'll definitely be working as hard as possible to replicate this result in the next race.
Fantastic. Well, many congratulations, and it's great to see you do well tonight there, and we look forward to seeing you race next week.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I second that as well. It was a great performance from you. First victor in this MSA Cup. We'll see if you can keep that consistency up and see if you can grab another race victory and steal the march in the championship, Papaya Racer.
Yeah, no, that will be the goal, of course, is to replicate what I've done here. And like you say, puts me in a good step in the championship straight away. But I know it'll be a good fight, like it always will be between, TNR, VSR. So I think looking forward to that battle as well. And
definitely fight and talk with Richard then. Are you feeling confident at Deep Forest?
Feeling confident. I think the one thing I was like, make sure there's no contact. Make sure there's no contact. to ensure there's nothing between that. And Richard was fair, gave me space. I'm glad it worked out perfectly. But it'll be a battle for sure. Looking forward to it. That's why we do this. So, I'm excited and hopefully can get another one from them.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed to all of you, and of course, congratulations to you, Chaz, on the race victory, and look forward to seeing you next week. But thank you for your time.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Well done, guys. Cheers.
Yeah, thank you to you, Chaz, and Richard, and Wolfie, and I mean, Hugh. Obviously, this championship. We witnessed 12 weeks of the SMA, and that was neck and neck, and it's looking like the same in this one, I think.
Yes, completely open, but a great result tonight for our top three drivers. And they've made a great start, good points for them. It's got all to play for, but they're looking good. It's very, very close. And, it's those tiny little things that make a difference. Now they can go back and practice and perfect their strategies and their racing on GT7. And I'm sure we'll be ready for another cracker of an event in a week's time. And, of course, we will have our interviews as well on Thursday, where we'll be talking more about that later on. It's been a fantastic first race for sure.
Indeed. Well, I guess obviously we have mentioned Deep Forest a few times, but we'll reiterate on what's coming up for next week. So, as you obviously heard, we are at the Deep Forest Raceway in the hills and the forests of Switzerland, with the track length of 4.25 kilometers, and of course, for those unaware, this is actually an original track set in the thickly wooded forests of Switzerland, with the back straight running along the cliff edge. And like many of the original circuits, it incorporates several tunnels. Due to the high-speed nature of this track, sports cars focusing on raw power are best suited for this course, and certainly in this car that the drivers will be using, we will be back into the Porsche Cayman Group 4 car, which of course is designed for racing on tracks. In terms of power, it is no different to the base model. However, the changes to the shape, underbody and the powertrain mean it's much more competition focused. The change from the 6-speed manual to the 2-pedal DCT transmission also help maximise performance. And yes, certainly, as we alluded to earlier on as well, well around a circuit like Deep Forest. It does envisage very close racing, wheel-to-wheel racing, and then down the straight it's going to be so important to stay as close to the car in front, to use that minimal slipstream and get the march on them by the time they get to the hairpin. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that one, and make sure you do tune in next week on Monday the 16th of June 2025 for that one. Also, as well, so for those that may have missed the start of the broadcast, we'll just quickly run you through the format going into this season. So with last season in the SMA GT500 series, you will know that from the first race till the 5th race, we have a promotion and relegation system in each of the 4 tiers. The top 3 drivers from each race in tiers 2 to 4 will be promoted, and the bottom 3 of 12th, 13th and 14th will be demoted to the tier below. After race 5, the final is determined. After race 5, the final determined tier position will be based on your total logged points, with the dropped round included, meaning the worst round will be deducted from your final logged points. This will determine which tier you will race in for the rest of the season. So for example, with today's race, unfortunately we had KLM Pace that finished in 12th and Rusty in P13. Jensen wasn't able to make it today, so he automatically gets the P14, and all 3 of them drivers will be demoted to tier 2 for next week. We've also got to say a big thank you to our sponsors for the MSA Cup 2025. It is sponsored by Simulator Cave, the haven for all your sim racing requirements in South Africa, and TGSC, Cape Town Golf Academy, the hotbed of nurturing talented golfers to reach full greatness. And please subscribe to our socials at Sim Motorsport Association on all our platforms, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, and our growing community on Discord, and of course this very channel on YouTube. Make sure, if you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button, click the bell notification so you don't miss any of our content, and when you're done watching, hit that like button to help with the YouTube algorithm so it spreads our content across the platform. We fully appreciate you. And if you'd like to get in contact with our MSA GT7 promoter Robin Williams for further details, then do check out our email links that will be in the description below and also on our YouTube homepage. Oh, what's happened there? Sorry, I pressed the wrong button here. Oh, God.
Has the stream finished? Or
No, we're still on. We're still on. Oh, God. Why is that? Okay. Oh, no. There we go. Right, sorry about that, guys. I was pushing buttons frantically there. Hugh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, all right, fantastic. So, Hugh, what are your thoughts on the race? And I'm going to have to ask you as well, who is your driver of the day?
Oh, my driver of the day, it has to be Chaz, because it was he started, I think it was 4th position. He battled for quite a while with Levitius, and he got the better of him, and then he managed to compete with Richard during the fuel saving phase, and came out in front, and then at the end pulled out a great gap. So a wonderful achievement there, a great victory. Definitely I would put Chaz as my driver of the day.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one, to be honest. You know, it was great to see Chaz on fantastic form today, I have to say, and he really didn't put a foot wrong. So, Hugh, I definitely agree with you. But let us know in chat as well who is your driver of the day as well. And Julius, just to look on the comments as well, probably not. But I appreciate you for asking. But speaking of streams, Hugh, so obviously we know you as the podcaster, the legend that you are. You did obviously mention about future SMA interviews coming up, but any other future plans for you?
Yes, I'll be streaming tomorrow morning. I'll be doing probably race A and race B on GT7. I've done some reasonable lap times on the time trial, so I'm looking forward to doing that. I call it 60 seconds of madness on GT7. See, I'll do 3 races and see if I can get some good finishes, good results. And we'll see how we perform tomorrow. And then, of course, we'll be doing the interviews on Thursday for the drivers. But we'll get that sorted out and we'll put it in the Discord, in the SMA Discord, so everyone will know the details there. But a fantastic race tonight, really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's got the heart going, got the adrenaline going. We were struggling to watch all the overtakes and all the battles at the start, but it's a great start to the championship, and I can't wait for the next one.
Indeed. Well, Hugh, thank you so much for your company today. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. It's definitely good to have you back alongside me, and you know, I guess we will see you for next week, Hugh.
Yep, the first few races, I'm down for the first 3.
There we go. So no surprise then. So Hugh will be back for week 2 of the MSA Cup 2025. So I look forward to seeing you then, Hugh.
Thank you. It's been a great fun. Really enjoyed it. It's a privilege to commentate alongside you, Sean.
Thank you, Hugh. Okay, so it was indeed Chaz, or Papaya Racer, who romped home to become the first winner in this season's MSA Cup 2025. Will anyone take the fight to him and challenge for honours in the next round for round 2 at Deep Forest? Well, we will find out next week, so make sure you tune in to this very channel on YouTube at the Sim Motorsport Association on Monday the 16th of June at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Africa time. And from everyone in the MSA and the SMA production team, a huge thank you for watching, and we will see you next week. I've been your main host, Flawed Genius Gaming. So stay safe out there, and it's a goodbye for now. SMA, growing the sport together.